Yinz Guys RC.
Welcome back to episode 3 of Yinz Guys RC. Today we've got some new features we're going to try out, and I want your input on them. You can email me at yinzguysrc@gmail.com. I want to know what you think, what works, what doesn't work. You let me know. The new features we're going to debut this week are Toolbox Tech and a segment, a remote video segment that we're trying to work out with Skype. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back with our first segment. Hey, in today's bit from the mailbag, we've got an email from Ken in Montana. Ken writes to Yinz Guys RC and asks, "What's your favorite plane and why?" Well, my favorite plane is right here. This is the E-Flite Advanced 25E. Now, back in about 2000, Hangar 9, which was another of Horizon Hobbies companies, made the Advanced 40, which I used to fly with an OS 46LA engine. That was a great flying airplane. Well, this is the update. This is the electric version. It's got about a 52-inch wingspan. It is powered with the E-Flite Power 32 motor. I fly it on a 5,000 milliamp 4-cell pack, and it's got an E-Flite 60 amp Pro ESC with a I think it's a 5 amp BEC in it. You get about 10 minutes of spirited aerobatic flight out of it. It's a tricycle gear plane, as you can see. I fly it with a, I believe it's a 14.6 prop. And it's a lot of fun to fly. I can shoot touch and goes with this all day long. So if you guys have a question out there, feel free to write in to yinzguysrc@gmail.com. Hey, welcome back to episode 3 of Yinz Guys RC. This week we've got a special guest with us, RC Flyer X. Now, RC Flyer X has to hide his identity because, well, we're not going to talk about that. We'll just say hi to him and welcome him and tell us a little about your RC experience.
Well, thank you for having me. You can also, for short, call me RC Fett. That's also acceptable.
Okay.
I've been flying now for about 10 years. Took a 6-year hiatus, and I started up about 2 years ago. And I started with an Ultra Micro Trojan, and I progressed to that with that, and now I'm to the point where I'm scratch building my own propeller planes and my own pusher jets.
Very nice. What are you making those jets and planes out of?
I'm making them out of foam board from Dollar Tree foam board.
Okay, a lot of guys are using that to build planes these days. That seems like a very popular building material.
Yes, it is.
Well, what type of glue are you using?
I have 2 glues that I do use, 2 of my favorites. One is the hot glue gun. I use a dual temperature hot glue gun, $10 at Walmart,
right.
2 sets, hot and cool. The hot will give you 3rd-degree burns. I'm proof of that. But I use the low temperature setting for the glue itself, for the foam when I'm connecting foam to foam, because the tip will burn the foam, burn through it and melt it.
Okay.
The low setting, the high setting I do use if I'm putting in a servo. It gives me time to place the servo, make sure it's correct. I'll put it on the servo itself, let it cool a second, and then I'll place it on the plane so it does not melt the foam. The other is CA. This is not foam safe, but just foam safe CA, which you can get at any hobby store. There's 4, 5, 6 different types out there. Tower Hobby, Horizon Hobby, any local hobby shop all sell foam safe CA. Make sure it's foam safe. If not, it will melt your foam.
Right on. Now, do you remove the paper from your foam, or do you build with the paper on?
I remove the paper from the foam.
I know guys do it both ways. Now, what do you use for painting your planes? Are you using just like testers paints or acrylics or what?
Well, actually, with the paper, what the problem is with the paper, unless you put a coating of the polyurethane Minwax on the foam, on the paper itself, even the water-based acrylic paints will lift that paper eventually and you'll have a plane with paper flapping all over the place. So I use just basic Walmart acrylics, flat acrylics that you can get for 97 cents on the plain foam itself. Now, if you're using the paper, again, use mid-wax polyurethane, coat the paper completely, put 2 coats on it. That seals the paper. That also lets you be able to fly in a light sprinkle, or if it lands in the wet grass in the mornings, or if you want to fly in the snow, mid-waxing the paper will seal it. But otherwise, I use standard acrylic paints at Walmart for 97 cents.
The apple barrel paints?
Yes.
Yeah, I've used them a lot on my foamies. They work very well.
Yes, they do.
Now, did you bring a plane with you today?
I most certainly did. This is my last. This is actually one of the finals. This is the final that I've started, or I started working on. I've had 3 or 4 prototypes. It started out as a Rafale, then it went to a Eurofighter, back to a Rafale, and then now it's a Eurofighter. It's a scratch build, old semi-plans I found online, but then I changed some things up myself. It does have.
So
does have parts.
That's a Delta wing with canards, correct?
Yes, it is. They are non-functional, but they're not movable as far as servo or gyro.
Right.
But do add to high alpha when you're just flying around. This plane can travel along to about 3 miles an hour in a high alpha like this with absolutely no problem due to the canards and the Delta wing design.
Okay, what type of motor are you using in that?
I'm using a 2600 kV power up from Heads Up RC.
Okay, and what kind of battery? 3-cell?
3-cell, 6-inch prop. I'm using a 3-cell, 1300 milliamp.
Great. Now, we understand you're also into some of the microplanes.
Yes, I am.
What's your favorite UMX?
That would have to be the Beast I got for my birthday last year from my wife. I absolutely love it. The AS3X in there is absolutely amazing. It just allows you to fly in pretty much any type of weather. Wind up to about 20 miles an hour is not an issue. It allows me to do high alpha stuff and even Harrier and hover that I can't do without that.
I got you. Sounds good. Now, I myself, I'm a Spectrum flyer, but lately I've been buying the orange RXs from Hobby King, and I don't have any problem with them. I find them to work great. Have you ever used any of those?
That's all I use. I absolutely love them. I actually have a gyro that's sitting on my desk. I am going to be installing into this guy. I've had no problem with the oranges whatsoever. I fly them as high as I possibly can, as far away from me as I possibly can, and within legal limits, and there's no problems with them whatsoever losing signal. Never had an issue.
Yeah, I've never had any issues either. I find them to be excellent and reliable receivers.
Yes, they are.
Or do you do RC cars or boats or anything else?
I do trucks, RC trucks. I have an RC 10T 4.2. My son has a 4.1, and we do race them on occasion when we get a chance to get down to the hobby shop.
Very cool. Very cool. So you got your son into this too?
Yes.
That's excellent. I've got my son in it. He's 9 years old. How old's your boy?
He's 11, and right now he's actually working on Slave 1, getting the reverse thrusters ready. We have a bounty we have to go after the show.
Okay. Well, that's going to do it for our segment today. And once again, I want to thank RC Fett for coming on with us, and hopefully you'll come on with us again.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Hey, welcome to Toolbox Tech. Today we're going to examine something inside the toolbox, so let's have a look. What we're going to talk about today is a power meter, or a watt meter. Now, if you fly electric planes, this is something you're going to want to have in your toolbox. Now, mine, as you can see, has Dean's plugs on it. You plug your battery in the one side, you plug the other side into your ESC, and this little device will show you how many volts your battery has, how many amps it's taking or putting out, excuse me, and how many watts you're using. So if you want to change your system, change your propellers, and see how that affects your flight characteristics and power output, this is what you need to do it. That's Toolbox Tech for today. Thank you. Well, guys, that about wraps it up for another episode of Yinz Guys RC. I appreciate you watching. Subscribe if you like. Tell your friends. And if you're interested in being my special guest, just let me know at yinzguysrc@gmail.com. We can get you on here. Till next time, keep them flying.
Thanks for watching. Now get out of here.